What's the most disgusting secret you've never told anybody? I once peed on a baby. Before you go off thinking the worst, please let me explain. My girlfriend at the time was babysitting a toddler and she invited me over. The place is pretty ritzy and there's a nice couch we could cuddle up and I could keep her company. Well, about 1-2 hours into hanging out, I decide I have to use the bathroom. I stumble into a few wrong rooms and eventually find the bathroom. They've got a fancy toilet with a bidet and a few other things installed. I never bothered to look too closely, but all's good and well in the kingdom. Apparently one of the rooms I tried looking into was the kid's room. He got freaked out by a nightmare, or something, and started screaming his head off, flailing, and running around the house like a chicken with its head cut off. Stupid me. I left the bathroom door open, which was the first place he sprinted into. Not only did he run straight towards me, he made a small ring around my position and walked right into the stream of urine. Girlfriend asked why his head was so wet and I'd never had a more nervous poker face in my life. TL. DR. Peed on a baby. Didn't mean to. Bob. DMT. When I was a little boy I was at my dad's work over the weekend because he had to finish up some stuff. There was nobody in the building and the place was completely desolate. I had to go to the bathroom badly so I attempted to go but the doors were locked. So I ended up crapping on the floor. My dad worked on the 3rd floor so I just picked up my poop, chucked my crap over the ledge into the main lobby down below. I then washed my hands in the water fountain and continued on like nothing was wrong, never telling my dad. I found a finger on a beach when I was very little. It was wrapped up in athletic type tape. I threw it back into the ocean. You did the right thing. As my grandpappy used to say, when the world gives you the finger, give it right back. Just kidding. He was just some old guy I met at the bus terminal. I was given a toy wheelbarrow type deal when I was younger, like 8 or so. For some crazy reason me and my sister both took shoots in the wheelbarrow and proceeded to wheelbarrow around a large load. This caused dad much anger. My parents gave my sister and I each a playtime plastic school desk when I was about 4 and she was 3. The desks had a flip-up lid to store books and papers. My sister and I invented a game of potty since these desks reminded us of a toilet. One time my sister slipped up and ended up peeing in one of the desks. Boy, were our parents pee. When I was around 15-16, I found my mom's dildo in her room and kept trying it out for around a year, a few times a week. I know she knew, but I don't think she knew how to tell her daughter that it's actually pretty disturbing. It was never talked about. And now that I'm getting a collection of my own, I'm now realizing how dang big my mom's dildo actually was. I've told people this, but it is still pretty nasty. Heck, week of swimming, I didn't go to the bathroom before our 3-hour swimathon. I got out and had to crap so bad, didn't make it to the bathroom. Rode home in shame and fesses. I totally got my period on the starting block once. Everyone saw the blood on the block and after I finished my race, I wrapped in a towel and stayed in the locker room until time to leave. Whoa, I now realize I have lots of embarrassing stories that have to do with poop. Here's another one. I'm probably 12. Family is visiting from Texas. Mom is trying to show them a good time. On our way home she suggests we stop at the Queen Mary boat to just look around for a few minutes. Texans are ecstatic and end up wanting to do the guided tour. Mom is broke so she and I wait in the car. Then the crap train starts tooting its way down my intestines. I really have to go. Mom says hold it. I say I can't anymore. In the backseat of the car, I crap into a cup that my mom holds under my butt. Go team. Your family sounds really close. I once made out with an old, creepy, ugly, smelly, and probably homeless stranger at a bus stop. Don't ask me why I did it. I have no idea. Because he was a suave old, creepy, ugly, smelly, and probably homeless stranger at a bus stop. Rooting around my parents' room in my teenage years. Found my mom's wedding dress. Put it on and took photos of myself wearing it. Then masturbated while still wearing it. This is how music videos get started. So once when I was 19 and back from college I was at a party and drank a decent amount. Ultimately one of my friends dropped me back to my house. Now after this I got back into my car after my friend left because I wanted some McDonald's. I somehow ended up at my ex-girlfriend's house, went up to her front door, and then continued to masturbate on her door. The ol' spunk in on the ex's door routine. I call it Wednesday night. I can completely control my stomach. I can throw up whenever I want, without sticking my fingers anywhere near my mouth. I can kind of burp vomit up, whenever and wherever I please, on command. This sounds actually pretty cool. If you ever get attacked, you could always use it as defense. When I was about 16 and my little brother was 13 or so, I dared him to take a crap on my sister's room floor for $1. I got him toilet paper, and he took a nice sturdy dump on my sister's carpet. I couldn't believe he actually did it. After that, he told my mother that our dog had taken a crap in my sister's room, and my mom went upstairs and cleaned it up. The thought of my mom cleaning up human crap from a carpeted floor still makes me laugh and cringe at the same time. We never spoke of the incident again. He got his $1. This is a sad story. I feel for your mum. After reading the top comment, my most disgusting secret is on par with knitting sweaters for the homeless at Jesus camp. You and me both, man. It's kind of made me feel better about myself knowing that the worst I've been is nowhere near, not even remotely, the depths to which others have plunged. Girlfriend and I drove down to her family's house in Mexico. After lots of junk food, caffeine and cigarettes, you can imagine how badly we both needed to crap upon arrival. The doors were locked and in our, oh my god I have to crap stupors we couldn't think straight. We both dug holes in the sand and put plastic bags in the holes. We then took shoots right next to each other, together, but we didn't hold hands or anything, so it's cool. So beautiful. Me and my best friend, who I've wanted to frick forever, were watching YouTube videos at her house on her laptop. She left for a sec to let the dogs out and I switched over to a tab of her Gmail that she'd left open. I searched her ex's name and lo and behold up came nudie pics of my friend. Sent them to myself and masturbated later. Not my proudest moment. I hate thinking with my penis. A few years ago I had a massive crush on my first cousin. We were best friends at the time. I always hated the fact we were cousins. Then one day she was at my house. I kept on bumping into her and feeling her and she was feeling me up as well. Then we went out into the field and sat down in the grass and started to roll around in it for a while. She told me what she liked in a guy and I told her what I wanted in a woman. We both shared some secrets. Then she grabbed my face and pretended to kiss me. I leaned forward to kiss her and she said, "What you doing?" I said nothing. Suddenly she had her hand down my boxers and was feeling my balls. I got so hard and jumped on her. We fumbled around in the grass and ended up having full-on sex for about half an hour. We got dressed, drove home, pulled over behind an old abandoned garage and done it again, this time only for about 10 minutes though she noticed how wrong it was what we were doing and slapped me. I drove her to her house and her mother invited me and I said no, but she dragged me in. I went to the bathroom to wash my hands and my cousin came in and told me never to mention what we'd done to anyone. After an hour at her house I left and didn't see her for a year. We saw each other in a store and had sex in my car again. Now we meet up in posh hotels and frick either other senseless. And now she's pregnant. The kid could be mine or her boyfriend. I love Reddit. At first I walked into this thread thinking I got this and would propose victory, but after reading the first few comments on this thread I've realized that I'm normal as frick. You guys are sick. The lower on this page I go, the less gross the comments are, and the more weirded out they are. It's like some twisted pH scale of evil. When I was in high school I am a dude. My youth pastor was manipulative. We would smoke weed and he would suck my dong. I wasn't gay, just confused. Heck, I was in high school and it was a BJ. One day he got pee and threatened to kick me out of the church if I didn't suck his dong. He took me to the back of the church on a Saturday and I did it. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever done. Thank goodness he finally got arrested for doing it to someone else. Jeez, that sucks. In retrospect, no pun intended. Throwaway account here. I like the smell of my own farts. One day, while working from home, I tried to waft one up and didn't realize that the chamber was loaded with diarrhea. I crap all over my own hand. Luckily, no one else was there, and I made a clean getaway. Well, as clean as you can make after unloading lunch on your knuckles. That is. Handpapa, you have a great username. You can't let it dwindle as a throwaway account. Started college at 17 years old, University of Florida. I was by no means a virgin, but definitely not as experienced as I would have liked to be. Frat party, drunk girl all over me all night. Go to her dorm. I am genuinely crap-faced. Her roommate is asleep in her bed literally 7 feet from us. She goes right for the penis and starts sucking it like she invented it. Within 30 seconds I realize I have never had to pee this bad. About to explode. Finally begin to orgasm. Blow entire load into her mouth. Her mouth still wrapped firmly around my schlong. I start to pee immediately after ejaculating. Pee for a good 10 seconds before I physically cinched the flow off. Her exact words were, "Holy crap, that was a lot of CM." She swallowed everything. TL. DR. I got head from a prostitute and accidentally peed in her mouth for 10-15 seconds afterwards, and she drank it. This is the first one that truly made me laugh hard. I masturbated during my grandmother's funeral. I've been giving myself enemas in the shower regularly for the past couple years. I don't know how it's freaking me up, and I think I'm stopping. I compulsively lie to my family. You had morning wood. Sometimes, when I go to the bathroom after first starting my period and the blood is fresh, I will wipe so that the toilet paper is practically saturated in it and pretty much inhale that crap. It gives me goosebumps and makes my body shake and my head reel because it smells like raw meat, and I have to keep myself from smearing it into my face. I am not proud of this. There is so much pee for you, and so many fans, should you choose to become internet famous. When I was a wee lad, I was at a family friend gathering for Christmas Eve. I used one of the family members' electronic toothbrushes directly on my Peter to induce an orgasm. Whoa. I was working at a bookstore with a girl who had just graduated art school and who was really pretty and fricked up, and I found out later, a secret, raging alcoholic. One night she's closing out the registers and I was sitting on the floor behind the counter. We're talking and I had my hand up her skirt a little etc. And a guy who was kind of digging on her who worked at the in-store coffee shop came over and chatted her up a bit. It was a high counter and I was pretty sure he couldn't see me, so I shifted around behind her and stuck my face under her dress and pulled her panties aside and started licking her butthole. It was awesome. She's stumbling over her words a bit and I wrapped a hand around and rubbed and inserted etc while he's blah blah we're hanging out this WKND blah blah come on by yada, and I'm pushing her butt apart and going to town. Very sexy. After a while, he says okay, well, hope to see you, and returns to work. Yeah, okay, bye. He might have noticed the bulge in the back of her skirt. I hope so. But I can't believe I'm airing this one, but here goes. My aunt took a hard fall about a year ago, so she hasn't been able to really bend down in the bathtub to properly bathe her dog. I let him outside and of course he finds something stinky to roll in. I knew I had to bathe him for her, but I was in a sweater and jeans and didn't want to get my clothes wet, so I just got naked and sat on the side of the tub. I was in the process of rinsing him off when he started sniffing around my crotch. He then began licking me, and I didn't stop him. It felt amazing. He was lapping at me like my vag was an ice cream cum. It went on for about 5 minutes. I finished off with the shower wand. I wish I could say it stopped there, but I bathed him several more times with the same outcome. The most ashamed I felt was when I turned around in the tub and let him lick my butthole during the 3rd bath time session. I've had dogs my entire life, and nothing like this has ever happened. In fact, I have 3 dogs right now and have never considered doing this. Oh, and I have a healthy sex life. It's not like I've never had great oral sex before. It's just that dog had some serious tongue skills. Holy crap, I feel dirty right now. Sometimes, I masturbate to thoughts of my wife. When she asks why I'm wanking, I lie and say it's to pee. I'm a horrible, horrible husband. I'm not mad, just disappointed. Older sister had her best friend over for a sleepover, and we were watching a movie in her room. I was in 8th grade or so. Me and the friend were sitting on the bed, and sis sat on the floor. My sister fell asleep, and me and her friend started to get touchy-feely. I grabbed my first boob, felt my first vulva, and got my first HJ all in one night, while the sister was fast asleep. Funny thing was that I was so religious at the time, I ran out directly after cooming and prayed in my room for forgiveness from God for such a sin. Then, after my refractory period was over, I said to myself, WTF, why do I feel guilty? That was the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Religion is stupid, and I masturbated and fell asleep. Best part of the story is my sister asking why there was a funny stain on her comforter the next day. Barely could contain the laughter. Vulva. I had to use a throwaway for this because some of my family knows my Reddit name, and heaven forbid they ever found this out. I have family in London quite often. Once when I was around 16 we were staying with my great aunt and great uncle. I don't even have the slightest of what I was thinking back then, but I had a strong attachment to my great uncle and would often stick close by him, help him with his hobby of pigeon racing and walking the dogs. I would always sit on the floor next to his leg when he was sitting on the couch, or just generally try to be in whatever room he was in. I don't know if I was exactly trying to seduce him or what, but I would always make sure I had my shortest shorts on or my tightest fitting shirt. Or if I was in the bath and I heard him coming up the stairs, being the only male in the house it was easy to tell it was him. I would quickly get out and walk from the bathroom to my room wearing only my towel. Their room faced across the hall to the bathroom, so sometimes if he looked up, he would see me exiting the bathroom. Yeah, fricked up I know, but like I said, I haven't a clue what was going on in my brain back then. One morning I went downstairs and got a bowl of cereal to munch while watching TV. He came in from feeding his pigeons and sat next to me. The next thing I remember, because I can't even really remember talking to him, he is leaned over and we are kissing. It takes me about a total of 10 seconds to realize what exactly I am doing, and I feel a lump of shame and guilt so heavy that I push him away, spilling my cereal on the floor, and make a dash back upstairs. I stayed in my room for the rest of the vacation, reading and generally just avoiding everyone. He must have cleaned up the spilt cereal because I never heard anything about it. TLDR. I kissed my married great uncle. Considering there are very few people who have family in London who do pigeon racing, walk dogs, and wear tight shorts and shirts, and the identification of the relationship to the poster, great uncle, well, or throwaway account may not help. When I was 8 and me and my sister who was 3 years my eldest slept together. When I mean slept I mean past tense for sleeping, not having sex, with me on the same mattress, and we started experimenting and she let me touch her pee. Then when it was her turn to touch me I didn't let her. How I feel about it nowadays, meh. WTF was I thinking? Today I'm 24 and we have a normal relationship of brother and sister, and we have never spoken about that ever after the fact. I think that's actually pretty normal as far as sexual development goes. When I was like 11, we used to babysit my parents' friend's small breed dog when they went on vacation. I would let it sleep with me, and because I slept naked the dog would always be interested in my pee and kept trying to lick me down there. So one day I let it and I liked it, so I would just let it every time it tried. Although I always got paranoid that the dog would be licking their faces and they would notice its face smelled funny. And no, I don't do that sort of thing anymore. I've moved on to BDSM. Right before my senior trip this girl and I started making out, getting physical with each other pretty much every time we saw each other. Our class took a bus down to Disneyland for the trip, on which her parents both chaperoned. This girl and I ended up in the same hotel room one night when a bunch of us got together to watch a movie. Her and I were laying in bed right next to each other with another girlfriend right next to her, and people scattered all over the room. Pretty much during the entire movie her hand was slowly stroking my dong, and she finished me off as soon as her neighbor fell asleep. But it gets better. Then, on the bus ride back with her parents 3 or 4 aisles in front and opposite of us, she blew me like 3 times. It was an 8-hour bus ride, so there was plenty of time. I've heard about this stuff happening when I was in high school but never believed it. Everyone is talking on bus rides, the people next to you are looking over, etc. I don't see how a girl could even give a guy a handy without someone next to you noticing, let alone a BJ. One time, at a party in college, we were at my friend's apartment and he had a glass jar full of olives in the fridge. For some reason, drunk, I decided it would be hilarious to pour out the juice and replace it with my pee. After doing that, I bet a random guy that he couldn't eat all of the olives and drink the juice in under 5 minutes. He drank all of it. I immediately regretted it, and still do. But seriously, why would anyone take that bet? It's not like I offered him money. I cannot get over my ex from 6 years ago. I've dated other girls, really great girls, since. I'm dating an amazing girl right now, but I just can't stop thinking about. I'm not delusional enough to ever think that we could be together. I know that I'm not in love with her, but rather a fake, idealized version of her I've constructed in my mind, but it just doesn't make a difference. I don't think I will ever get over her. This isn't disgusting so much as shameful. I got Facebook fap pictures from a younger girl via using my sister's profile. During a school break, I friended this girl on my younger sister's account so it would seem natural, then waited. A day later, my sister says, XXXX has accepted your friend request. That's weird, I never added her. Then, I downloaded every single one of her pictures, probably over 200, had myself smeared in human crap. When I was younger, a few of my older friends said they were filming a bike video, but needed my help framing some shots. They instructed me to pose in certain lying positions, which I soon discovered to have human crap from one of them. The thing was, at this point, I was so embarrassed, I thought making it public would be worse, so I didn't say anything. I kept going along with it to save my dignity. Afterwards, I ran home, took a few showers, and threw away my clothes in the woods. I have 2 hot, older cousins that I've fantasized about. I don't know why my brain even works this way, but 2 of my cousins are so hot. If I could stop time and have sex with them, I would do it in an instant. Every time we have family get-togethers, I have to always make sure I never get caught checking them out. Hooked up with a girl from OkCupid who turned out to be 17. Being single for a while, I decided to try my hand out at online dating. I started talking with this one girl, and we had a lot in common, so we made plans to hang out. When we get together, she says she has something to tell me. She's 17. She said she was really sorry, but if I wanted to call it off, she understood. I decided, frick it, just go along with it. We hung out, and later went to my place and drank a bout of wine. We decided to take turns, sharing secrets. When she tells me she's been raped multiple times, millionth red flag, but didn't care at this point. We spent the night together and had a lot of fun. The next day she left, and that was that. Lied about deleting nude photos of an ex. A girl and I toward the end of our relationship took some nude photos. I could see that the end was near, so I made duplicates. A few days later when we broke up, she asks me to delete them. I say, sure, and delete the visible copy. I still fap to them. Friends know I have them, and have asked to see them, but I won't do that. Maybe I'm not completely terrible. After the last day of school in 6th grade, my friend and I went apeshit with joy and started doing whatever the frick entered our minds. This ultimately culminated in us taking turns pee on a sock we found, picking it up with a stick, and throwing it onto this old guy's porch. I was such a classy youth. When I was a toddler, I got out of my crib and proceeded to, in my father's words, paint every square inch of the room in crap. Apparently I even got the insides of the dresser, under the crib, and on the phone. He called my mom and said, come home now. I can't deal with this. I'm only one man. I'm certain I've done worse than these. The stories I tell you are only the ones that immediately come to mind. 1. When I was 6 or 7, there was a girl that I developed a crush on. We were good friends and would hang out and play at recess and whatever. One day she was sitting with another one of her friends behind a thorn bush. Maybe it was because I wanted her attention to instead be on me. Maybe it was because I felt I loved her too much, but for some reason I decided it would be a good idea to creep up behind her and shove a large thorn into the back of her neck. She screamed and doubled over in pain. I ran away, and no one has ever known it was me. Why must I hurt the ones I love? 2. Much like now, my adolescent self was an insatiable, frisky fap demon. Seriously, I masturbated like I was going to win something. One day I realized that the house was empty and I had the whole basement to myself. Normally, when people were in the house, I was very conservative with my masturbation routine. One eye on the door, one hand ready to change tabs. It was a very efficient procedure, but when the house was empty it became an entirely different activity. I would go crazy, jacking off with oiled water balloons and various foods. After an experiment with using olive oil as lube, I decided that butter would be a brilliant idea to try next. It worked spectacularly. I don't think I had ever CM so hard in my life. As it happens, there was a closet in my basement masturbation lair filled with a number of old, hideous dresses. These were clothes that looked like they were made out of shower curtains. Think horrible floral patterns and color vomit. I figured it would be a good place to clean myself up. As the days, weeks, and months go by, I had begun to incorporate using butter into my regular routine. I continued to use the closet. As a result, the dresses began to take on the pungent smell of congealed semen butter. Remarkably, such a scent is actually eerily reminiscent of the smell of the elderly. I would not have thought it disgusting if I had not known what it really was, which made it all the more horrendous when my grandmother, who had decided to pay a visit, decided that she and my mother were going to relive their youth and model all of their old dresses from that very closet in front of me. All I could do was smile politely as I saw them parade around in the stained, smelly CM rags I had been using for months. 3. I got my friend to relapse on M so I could get convenient hookups at slightly lower prices. 4. I tell people I voted in the last provincial election but I actually didn't because I forgot. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.